Holly Talbot with Limburg TV, and tonight we are at our Chamber of Commerce annual Evening of Excellence. It's a wonderful night where we honor wonderful people from our community. Tonight we're going to be honoring Dr. Melissa Burak, who's retiring as Superintendent of Schools, Frank Pignataro from River Mill Tavern, Sean Murphy of the Police Department, John Donald of the Fire Department, and Harold Reese, who is getting our Lifetime Achievement Award, along with Corey Hirsch, who's our past president, and we're going to install our officers. So I am going to be the president, so we're going to install me, and we're going to install our board, and that is going to be part of the night. And we have music by the New Standards, and we've got Joaquin from the high school taking pictures. We've got Anne Marie Lebrano. You're going to see this beautiful balloon art she made. So we've got a lot of things going on tonight, and I hope you enjoy the evening. And this is Michaela Argento. She is going to be my vice president. So I'm really happy to have her here tonight, but she's also the chairperson of this event.
Okay, how are you? I'm already very excited. So happy to be together. So happy everybody's here, and happy to be a part of the chamber.
And who do we have over here? And here we have Melissa Matata from Geico. Hello. Good. I'm doing well. How are you? She was on the committee as well.
Yes. And you want stuffing bags? Stuffing bags. My office stuffing bags for Leda. So we will hand them out at the end of the night. And I'll introduce Anne Marie. And this is Anne Marie Lebrano.
And you have seen her maybe already. I don't know if you've seen the balloon arch that she made.
Yeah, from the Little Balloon Cottage. Thank you for having us tonight.
Anne Marie's going to be joining our board.
Yes, I'm very excited.
And right now I'm with one of our honorees, Dr. Melissa Burak. How are you?
Hi, nice to see you.
Great to see you too.
Thank you so much for this wonderful recognition. You know, I just feel all this time I'm just trying to do my job, do what's right for the students, but it's really nice that the Chamber of Commerce is recognizing me in my retirement year. Hopefully I have the school district and the community proud with some of the accomplishments the district has done.
Here I am with Trustee Laura Ryder. How are you?
Holly, you look lovely. Thank you so much for having me. This is such a beautiful event, such a beautiful event. And congratulations to all of our honors.
And I'm with one of our honorees, Sean Murphy. How are you?
Good, how are you?
Good, good. Very happy to have you here.
I'm happy to be here.
Thank you for all you do for us.
We appreciate it. The Chamber's been very great to the police department, and we appreciate the support that you guys always give us. It's an honor.
Have a good night tonight.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. This is such a wonderful evening. I'm so excited to be here.
Fun. Yeah, me too.
This is a great event with great honorees.
Yeah.
And then you're becoming president?
That's what they say.
Oh, wow. Well, the chamber is going to be in very good hands. I'm very excited.
We're looking forward to a really good year.
Yes, it's going to be a great year.
Yeah.
The chamber has a lot to offer the village.
Yeah.
And vice versa, the village has a lot to offer to the chamber.
Thank you.
Yes.
Thank you. We are with some really wonderful people. We're with my daughter-in-law, Elizabeth Scordato, my son, Nick Scordato, and we have other people, Christian and Lauren, and these people all graduated from Limbrook High School in 2000, and they still live in Limbrook. So I'm really happy about that. Limbrook is a great community, so I'm really happy to have all you guys here. Yeah. And how are you, Rhonda?
I'm so happy to be here. It's like a dream come true this night.
Yes, it is, yes. And she's in charge of selling.
I'm a 50-50 girl.
Great, great.
Congratulations, Polly.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. Thank you for me. Rhonda was on the committee, helped put this together, so we really
Yes, we
appreciate
know
that.
each other a long time.
We do go
and
back.
I so look forward to helping you.
Yeah.
I can't wait.
How are you doing?
I'm doing wonderful. How are you, Polly? This is you did wonderful here. It's really nice to see so many people here.
Yeah, I think we got a great turnout.
Yes. I don't know how many people are actually here, but I know there's more coming. And it's really nice for the chamber to get it together and with the village, and we're going to do well. says, you know, Lynbrook, when they come into Lynbrook, they all slow down. And the ones that don't, they get tickets. And I love it. I love it. It's safe for
Slow
everyone.
down in Lynbrook.
Really, really, very nice.
Yeah.
You get the fire department here. You're honoring John Donald, right? Which is very nice too. He's ex-chief.
Right.
And he did a great job for us.
Right.
And who am I leaving out? I'm leaving out another person.
Dr. Burak?
Yes, I got Melissa.
You got-
It's
okay,
a great
we got-
career she had with us. With a
Yeah.
great school district.
Oh, and Harold.
Harold.
Reese.
Oh, Harold. How could we
Yeah.
forget him? And
Yeah.
Corey.
Yeah.
See, I'm coming up with
Yeah,
them all.
right.
Without the script.
We got a long list. Yeah.
It's really very nice, though. We're going to have a nice time. And it's over at 10 o'clock.
Yes.
And then we're going to another hour for more partying after that.
Oh, you are?
Yeah.
All right.
All right. Enjoy. Yeah, have a
Thank you
great
so
time.
much.
All right.
Steve Wangle. We actually created a new position for Steve called Executive Director. And he's going to be my Executive Director this year. So I'm really,
Well,
really
I'm
happy.
looking forward to helping you these coming 2 years. I know that we've got a lot of plans this year for the Chamber,
Yeah.
for our membership, to help them be successful, and I'm really glad to be a part of it with you.
Thank you. And here I'm with one of our honorees. Hi, John.
Hi, how are you?
This is John Donald with the fire department.
Yes.
Right? And are you, you're all set. Look at this.
Yeah.
Uniform. Great, great, great.
Thank you.
So it's nice to have you here.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, congratulations.
Thank you.
Yeah. The Lynbrook Fire Department's always there when you need them.
Yep, we are 24/7, 365. We're always around. So our job never stops. You know,
Yeah.
and everyone has a second job also. So it's, you know, it's a very big undertaking when you join the fire department. So
Yeah, because it's on top of your regular
of your regular
life.
job. Yeah, everyone has a regular job, a regular 9 to 5 or a shift work schedule where they work their regular job, but when they're home with their families, they're on duty with us. So
Yeah, great. And I'm here with Harold Reese. He's one of our honorees. He's here for our Lifetime Achievement Award.
Lifetime Achievement
Oh
Award.
my
Yeah.
God, that's amazing.
Goes back a while, I gotta tell you.
So Harold has been my mentor all along. Yeah.
And the
Great.
best of luck to our president-elect. He's now going to be president after tonight.
Yeah.
He's got the support of the whole chamber, so.
Thank you. Thank you so much. You've done so much for our community. You've always been there for us.
It's been fun doing it. And I've been in Lynbrook since '63.
I know.
Family way back, back to '38. So we've have some roots in Lynbrook for a while.
Yeah.
Still do. Still do.
Still do. Right. Right. Yeah.
Great job. The best of luck to you now with your new president.
It's gonna be good. Yeah.
Good evening, everyone. And thank you for venturing out of Lynbrook here to the beautiful Coronel House. Thank God for GPS so everybody knew how to get here. In an effort to keep the Chamber of Commerce green, we've started a recycling program starting with me. If you remember, I'm Steve Wangle. You probably don't remember because I was president of the Chamber during COVID and you saw who then. I'd like to acknowledge some elected officials and dignitaries that are here with us tonight. The county executive, Bruce Blakeman, is represented by Frank Elijah. From the village of Lynbrook, the mostly honorable Alan Beach as our mayor. Playing the part of deputy mayor, Michael Hawes. Trustees Laura Ryder, Robert Baccio, and Anne Marie Reardon. Keeping us safe, Brian Palladino is our chief of police. And keeping the home fires not burning, Christopher Kelly, chief of the Lynbrook Volunteer Fire Department. Making us smarter, superintendent of schools, outgoing superintendent of schools, Dr. Melissa Burak. And I'd like to acknowledge our past presidents, some are here in spirit. Carol Burak, Corey Hirsch, Harold Reese, Denise Rogers, Holly Talbot, and yours truly. And I think the only person I've forgotten is Harry Levitt, but I'm going to ask our Chief of Police, Brian Palladino, to come to the microphone and lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance.
Good evening, everybody. Please stand, pledge to the flag. Hand over heart. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
I'm going to ask Anthony DiCarlo to come forward and lead us in a short invocation.
It's very exciting. I'm going to actually give you a prayer. Nobody wants to hear a politician talk. So anybody, if you could, just bow your head and I say, bless the food you're about to eat. Bless to all of you who are participating here tonight. Bless the chamber. It's a really great chamber and a wonderful community. And you know what? Let's all be grateful and thankful for our health and our family's health in 23. Amen.
Okay, I would like to call to the microphone our Mayor Alan Beach and our incoming President Polly Talbot. I know Polly's in here. Good evening, everybody, and congratulations to all the honorees. I'm going to swear Polly in. Raise your right hand.
I, Polly Talbot,
Solemnly swear
solemnly swear
to support the Constitution of the United States, the Constitution of the State of New York, the laws of Lynbrook,
the laws of Lynbrook,
the bylaws of the Chamber of Commerce of Lynbrook,
the bylaws of the Chamber of Commerce of Lynbrook,
and to faithfully discharge the duties as President of the Chamber.
as President of the Chamber.
So help me God. Congratulations.
So good evening to everybody. I'm really grateful and very excited to be the president of the Chamber of Commerce once again. Some of you might not know I did this once. It's exciting to do it again. Okay. All right, should we do that first? Okay. All right, before I do go with that, we're going to swear in the rest of our board. If everybody could come up, Sharice, everybody who's going to be on the board, Michaela.
I, your name, do hereby attest and affirm that I will abide by the Constitution of the United States. Do hereby attest and affirm I will abide by the Constitution of the United States, the Constitution and laws of the State of New York, and the bylaws of the Lynbrook Chamber of Commerce. Furthermore, I will, to the best of my ability, execute my duties of the office.
I will do the best to the best of my ability to
execute the duties
of
my office which I've been duly elected. Being for the benefit of the members, businesses within the Corporated Village of Lynbrook. Being for the benefit of the members, businesses within the Incorporated Village of Lynbrook. And stand as an example of the organization's commitment to the community. So help me God.
Constitution and laws of the State of New York. The bylaws of the Lynbrook Chamber of Commerce. Furthermore, I will, to the best of my ability, execute the duties of the office to which I have been duly elected, being for the benefit of the member businesses organization's commitment to the community.
This organization's commitment to the community.
So help me God.
So help me God.
Congratulations.
Okay, Mayor Alan Deach has brought us so far, and I look forward to working closely with him, with Deputy Mayor Michael Hawksworth, Trustees Anne Marie Reardon, Laura Reiner, and Rob Ascio. They're just a great team, and I really look forward to working with them. We also work really closely with all our department heads, so that's always a great relationship as well. So I'm always calling somebody there, and it's wonderful. We just have a really great community. We all work together, and I love that. I want to congratulate our honorees, Dr. Melissa Burak, Frank Pignataro, Sean Murphy, John Donald, and Harold Lee. I also want to congratulate our new board. I want to congratulate them. I'm really excited. Michaela Argento is going to be my vice president. And Steve Wangle, we just created a new position for him called Executive Director. So he's going to be my right hand, and he's also my tech support and a lot of other support. So he's great. So he's going to really help us out a lot. In fact, he just stepped into this role, so he's right hand. So it's really nice to be honoring all these wonderful people tonight. I want to also Corey Hirsch. She's really went through a hard time with COVID, teaching us all how to work on Zoom was kind of crazy. And meanwhile, he and his wife are having 2 babies. So he had a rough kind of way to go for a while. I want to thank our committee chair people, our chairperson, Michaela Argento. She had a great committee. We had Eleanor Jabegi, Steve Wangle, Corey Hirsch, Melissa Matassa, Rhonda Glickman. We had just a good committee. We had a lot going on. I also want to thank Anne-Marie Lubrano from the Little Balloon Cottage. She did these great balloons. She does beautiful stuff. So she's really a new member. She's going to work on membership for us this year as well. Also, thanks to the New Standard, the music we're having tonight. It's really fun. I'm also very grateful to all the politicians who came here tonight to honor us as well. Thank you so much. And 2 special guests I have here tonight are my son and my daughter-in-law, Nick and Elizabeth. They are prime examples of why you love Lynbrook. Lynbrook is such a great community. Nick and Liz graduated in 2000, first year of prom night, and they, for a short while, moved out of the village. And not just because they were good babysitters in Lynbrook, but there was a great village, and they came back, and they now live in Lynbrook, and I'm so happy. But that's what a lot of people do. Lynbrook is a great village. It's a great place to raise a family and to live. It's just wonderful. So I'm really happy that they're here. Some of the things that I want to do this year, my main goal is to really strengthen the bond between the village and the chamber, because I think we really need to work on our economic development. So we're really going to work closely. I've already had meetings with the mayor, and we've been talking about it, and Brian Stanton from the building department, he's been helping. So we're all going to work together, and really we're going to get a lot of people in the chamber involved, and we're really going to work to fill up all those empty stores and get some and really build and make our business community blossom. So I want to get all the members out. We've got a membership drive going on now. Save $25 if you do it by January 31st. So join the chamber. And I'd love to have a lot of clubs and organizations joined as well. And residents can be associate members and be active with us as well. So it's great. We're doing so many things this year. We've got the bike racks you might have heard me talk about before coming, and they should be here another month or so. There was a little delay on those. We're getting a new software program for the chamber, and that's going to be challenging to all of us. But of course, Steve, my tech support, is going to help us with that. And Lloyd was also our Lloyd Floyd Prine is our webmaster, so he's going to help, and we're going to get that running. And that's going to help us to really organize ourselves a lot better. To support our restaurants this year, our First Lady of Lynbrook, Rena Beach, and I are doing a thing called Dine Around, so I want to invite everybody to come. The first one is next Thursday. Each month we're going to go into a different restaurant, and we're going to publicize it through social media, so watch your social media, and we're going to get everybody to share it, and we're going to have once a month, like a village meeting at a restaurant. You make your own reservation, you come in, of course, you buy your own dinner. But the restaurants, the first one we're going to do at Livorno on the 26th, and he's going to raffle off a free dinner for two, so it'll be nice. The restaurants are really excited about it as well. We have our monthly meetings. We have one at Pearsall's in February where the mayor will be joining us and talk about what's going on. In March, we have a leadership workshop that we're excited about. The biggest thing that I'm most excited about, I have to say though, is on April 29th, we have something called the Lynbrook Experience, and it's going to be like a big expo with all our businesses, and we're inviting the entire community to come and experience what we have in Lynbrook. We have so much in Lynbrook that people don't even know is there. I mean, sometimes people call a plumber and they come from Sayville, and it's ridiculous because we have great plumbers in Lynbrook. So we're going to get everybody to understand who's in Lynbrook and how you can use the Lynbrook businesses and build our community that way. The event calendar is on our website, so anytime you want to come to any of our events, all you have to do is look on our website and you'll see what and where and why and how and all that stuff. So you just select whatever date you want to look at and see what we're doing. So we're really lucky about that. We're very fortunate to have such a mayor and a board that supports the chamber, and they're always so willing to work with us. So we've already seen what they can do. So working hand in hand with the village, I feel certain that we can really build business and have Lynbrook business community really blossom. And I especially want to build a good relationship with our residents, and I think that's important. Lynbrook is a wonderful village, and I'd like us all to work together to really make it happen this year. And by the way, don't forget to shop local. Always think about what you can do here. All right?
We'd like to start our award ceremony. Before we do, just a couple of quick things. When you walked in tonight at a replace setting, you saw a flyer which has got our calendar of events for this year, through the summer anyway. So if you're interested in any of these, take your cameras, scan the QR code, you'll be linked to our calendar of events, and you can link that to your own calendar, stay in touch with what the chamber is doing. On the flip side are all the people through their generosity made tonight happen. So if you need to spend some money, spend it with one of these guys. To introduce our first honoree, I'd like to ask Rhonda Glickman to come to the microphone. Rhonda?
Good evening, everybody, and thank you all for coming. I'm really happy that I have the honor of speaking about Corey Hirsch. Corey came and joined the chamber and became the president at a very difficult time, at the very beginning of COVID. He's the immediate past president of the Lynbrook Chamber of Commerce. He grew up in Lynbrook, graduated from Lynbrook High School, the class of 2005. After graduating from Long Island University, Corey joined the family business, CPA Realty and Building Management. CPA Realty and Building Management is a full-service real estate brokerage and property management firm. They have been located on Merrick Road in Lynbrook for the past 12 years. Corey has a passion for Lynbrook and for helping the community. He was a member of the Lynbrook Fire Department, Emergency Medical Number 1 from 2011 to 2018. He joined the Lynbrook Chamber of Commerce in 2018 and has done what he can to help the Lynbrook business community thrive. He was elected president to the chamber in 21 and has served for 2021 and 2022 in that role. He attempted to keep the chamber and overall Lynbrook business community moving forward throughout the pandemic and coming out of the pandemic. Corey, we would love to thank you so very much and thank your family and friends for all their support, and especially his wife, Melanie, who had a couple of kids in the middle, and for all her support as his term of president in the Lynbrook Chamber of Commerce comes to an end. Thank you.
Again, thank you, Rhonda, for those lovely words. Again, thank you to everyone for coming tonight. We truly appreciate your support. To my board, Holly, Steve, everyone else who's been on the board, to my family, to my wife, to everybody, thank you for allowing me to be successful in this position, and I'm wishing the new board all the success going forward, and let's keep rolling.
Great job, Corey. By the way, every 6 years you have to serve as president, so get ready. I'm moving. I'd like to ask Dr. Lynch to come to the microphone to talk about our next great honoree.
So I just threatened Melissa because I have a written statement that I'm not going to read. Instead, I think it's important for this room. It's an odd room to be introducing Melissa Burak, for sure. There are many people in this room who would have known little Missy, who ran down the street into Al's Deli over by Lakeview Avenue when she was just a little girl. And her relationships, and you know what? Now you know that she's not my boss anymore because I got away with using that line. I just told her you're in trouble, and that was and I think allow me to give her back to you. You who gave her to us. And she so loves this community, and I think anyone who knows her knows that to be the truth. That she eats and breathes Lynbrook. When she was a young teacher, all she wanted to do, and she'll tell you this, is to teach at Lynbrook. And at first, she didn't get the job, and she just tried and tried again, and then she became a teacher, and then she became the tech director, and she forged new opportunities in this district, being the first, can you imagine, in the 1990s, being a tech director and a woman? This is a real trailblazer. She's a real Lynbrook person. I think of the first time I ever went to this chamber. We were doing the bond, and she knew that the first place we had to go was to the chamber to explain what the bond was about, and not just what the bond was going to do for our kids, but what that bond was going to do for this community. And we took the hit the first time, and it didn't get past the first one, and you know what she did the very next morning? She got up, she got us in the room, and we started again. And then those years later, take a look at our high school right now, an absolute jewel in the middle of this community. So I guess on behalf, that's what, and educationally, what she has done and what she has led us to, it's a big deal in education. We had a Regeneron winner last week. that is an incredible testament to our teachers and to the leadership under Melissa Burak. So I guess that's what I want to say more than anything else. We're going to present her to you tonight, but we want to say to you, the good people of Lynbrook who gave her to us, thank you. I give you Melissa Burak.
So we know we have the best successor because he literally took everything I was going to say and already told you. But first, thank you to the Chamber of Commerce. I said to Polly earlier, when I first became superintendent, she was president of the Chamber of Commerce, and now as I'm leaving, she's being installed as the president of the Chamber of Commerce. So all the best to you and the Chamber for your continued good work for the community. Congratulations to all the other recipients. When you take a look at this room and the honorees this evening, you represent all of the major stakeholders that make this community so great, and the partnership that the Lynbrook Schools has with the business owners, the police department, the fire department, all of the Chamber of Commerce. It is that partnership. So in my final year, I thank you for that partnership. For without you, we could not achieve any of the things that we could achieve. I have to thank and Dr. Lynch, now my successor. Clearly, we have the same mind, we have the same passion, we have the same mission, so it's going to be a very smooth transition. You're going to be so pleased with what will follow in Lynbrook. But I do have to thank my assistant superintendent cabinet, the 3 assistant superintendents for your tireless teamwork, my entire administrative team, and we have a couple of administrators here this evening, all of the staffs in the district, the Board of Education members who literally have constitutions of steel. I don't, they do. They have constitutions of steel for their support. And last but not least, certainly, is my right hand and my left hand, Terry Moran, who listens to me every day. And let me tell you, that's not easy. And she gives me her unfiltered advice every single day. But the thing is, a smart leader will listen to it. Okay? A smart will always listen to the unfiltered advice. Not everybody's going to tell you everything's wonderful. Trust me, no one tells me everything's wonderful. They always tell me what's not going well. But it's all about community. And I mentioned the police department, the fire department, the Chamber of Commerce. It's all about community. And the Lynbrook Schools, you need to know, we take that sense of community so seriously. And your investment in our children, you should reap the benefits of that investment in the children. And I hope you do, and I hope you see that. And Dr. Lynch did steal my thunder, because we have achieved a number of things in the Lynbrook School District in recent years. Recently, Lynbrook High School federally recognized as a Blue Ribbon School for high performance. That is thank you, and it's because of you, your support. He mentioned the Regeneron semifinalists. In my tenure as superintendent, we have had 3 semifinalists. And for a small high school like Lynbrook High School, that's a big deal. For those of you who don't know what Regeneron is, it is the most prestigious science research program in the country. And you think about, there are tens of thousands of high schools in the United States. There are hundreds of thousands of students in those high schools. 300 students in the entire country get recognized as a semifinalist, and Lynbrook has one of them. And let me just tell you something, that student who got these semifinalist recognition, he actually had multiple research projects going on at the same time. This is how bright this kid is. 2 of his science research projects, he was working in well-established laboratories with real scientists who were guiding him along the way. One of his science research projects was developed and cultivated right in the newly renovated Science Research Center in Lynbrook High School. Guess which one of those 3 projects earned him the recognition of the semifinalists? Guess which one? The one that was cultivated right in Lynbrook High School. And that was a community-supported
bond issue project, the renovation of that Science Research Center. So your investment in our kids reap the benefit of that recognition for that child, and it's a point of pride for the school district, and it should be a point of pride for the community, and I hope it is. That's what I've tried to do in my years. I've tried to take Lynbrook and make it a better place than it was when I first started in Lynbrook, and I know now under the leadership of Dr. Lynch, the mission will continue, the sense of community will continue, and your support is greatly appreciated, and we hope that we make the community proud. That is our goal. We have a sincere responsibility to give back to the community. So that's what I just want to thank everyone, and in my final year, and I'm an avid fan of Seinfeld, so in the words of Cosmo Kramer, put a fork in me, Jerry, I'm done. Farewell.
I got a picture.
I think Dr. Lynch has some big shoes to fill. What do you think? I'd like to call up to the microphone the man who is responsible for the leadership of a force of people that not only make us feel safe, but that we actually are safe. I'm going to ask Chief Brian Palladino to come and introduce our next honoree.
Hello? How's everybody doing tonight? All right. First of all, every honoree tonight, I basically have had a personal personal relationship with, and I think that's outstanding. I don't know if that just means I'm old, or if it means that Lynbrook is just one of the best places in the world to live. Two things I would love to point out. Melissa, you called out your retirement on your retirement brick out in front of the high school. So, Mayor, I'm going to be starting my retirement brick garden in front of the house tomorrow. I'll announce my retirement and sell bricks at the Palladino Foundation if anybody wants to enter. Next, Harold Reese. One of the funniest nights of my life was at the Lynbrook Golf outing this past year. I never really had hung out with Harold Reese, and we hung out till about 11 o'clock at night, and then we had to bring him back to the home. So it was a great night, though. It was a great time. This guy could party. He's great. Before I mention my honoree, I have to talk about another cop, Anthony Jakowski. No one knows who Anthony Jakowski is, because Anthony Jakowski is a Garden Great Neck Estates cop. And I went to the academy with him. The first day he came in with like a mullet type thing. It was 1997. And he had to clean every toilet. So the next day he came in bald and shaved his eyebrows, so to prove a point. And then he also was able to laugh like a hyena, or like a billy goat, and it was really pretty funny. But what was cool about Anthony Jakowski was we were hired in 1997, and he was actually hired in 1996. So one day I walked in the station house, and at the time Sergeant Fleury, young sergeant, was in a tizzy because he had just interviewed the best cop that he'd ever talked to. And he didn't know how to hire this guy because Nassau County wasn't having an academy, and this cop was ready to join the Suffolk County Police Department. So I told him about Anthony Jakowski, and he hired him 4 months early, and we can bring this kid in, and we could have him work around the station. It's probably the worst thing ever because he has to work on every computer in Village Hall all the time, forever, until the end of time. But he earned that because he was hired about 4 months before his academy, and it's going on now to be saving the Lynbrook Police Department. He's just remarkable by all standards. Anything I ever ask, Chief Dino, I got it. Don't worry, man, we got it. We'll do this, we're all right. As far as being a cop, I'm an old cop. But you know what, I'm a young chief, and he's an even younger inspector. So the selling point when we walk in the door is we tell the new guys, you have the youngest leadership team on Long Island. And we want to improve our department and bring it to the next level. We can only do that because of Inspector Sean Murphy. He is just... he brought us from the Stone Age way past that. I mean, we're doing things that other departments are constantly calling us saying, hey, how do you guys do that? And Sean is the answer man. It would be inept in saying that I was Sean's sergeant. We were cops for a short time together. I became a sergeant. Sean got assigned to the night tour, just part of his character and who he is. He's working his first midnight, and he pulls up, and we're talking car to car. And I said to him, I go, you know, Sean, there's not a lot of places open at night. I go, you know, you can go off post to get something to eat or something like that. Maybe go buy Dunkin' Donuts. And he looked at me with the eyes of a child, and he said, Dunkin' Donuts open all night? He grew up in a home that was wholesome, moral character, and that's what he brings to our department. And everybody in this room should be so proud that he represents us in the world of policing and just the village overall. With that, Inspector Sean Murphy, please.
Thank you, Chief, for the kind words. They're mostly true. Thank you to the Chamber for this wonderful event, and congratulations to everyone who was honored. You're truly pillars of the Limerick society, and you know the police department needs those types of people that support us, and we support you day in and day out. And once again, thank you so much for everything that you bring to police department.
All right, so I'm becoming a pretty big public speaker here between last week and this week. For those of you who don't know me, I'm Kevin Hoppin. I'm just one of the cops for Lynbrook. So I'd like to talk about Inspector Sean Murphy. Let's hear it for him. Yeah! And if Murph wasn't nervous, he's nervous now. So I'd just like to say two things about Murph real quick. I got two little quotes here. So leadership has nothing to do with having power over someone. It's about using your influence to inspire and empower your team to achieve the impossible. And that's Murph. He comes up with different things to motivate the guys every day to get us out there and do what we got to do. Clean the streets up for Al. The other quote I got here, a cardinal rule of leadership. Never expect of others what you're unwilling to do yourself. Good leaders hold themselves to the same standards as others. Great leaders hold themselves to higher standards. Basically, this guy, he'll go out, he'll impound a moped, he'll impound a car, and he'll be like, guys, come on, let's get out there, let's do it. So he won't ask us to do something that he won't do himself. It's an honor to work under these two guys here. And Lynbrook Police, top 10, safest village. Let's go.
Chief Kelly, can I ask you to come to the microphone?
I need to follow up Chief Paladino. Yeah. All right. I'm here to speak about my good friend John Donald. For anybody who doesn't know, John Donald was the 101st Chief of the Lynbrook Fire Department, and it's an accomplishment that everyone should be proud of, and I know he is. In November 2023, after serving overseas and on the other side of the country with the United States Marine Corps, ex-Chief John Donald followed in his father's footsteps and joined Rescue Hook, Ladder, and Bucket Company No. 1. After putting in his time at the firehouse, learning how to become a firefighter, and learning what it takes to lead a company, he was elected second lieutenant of truck company in 2008, elected first lieutenant in 2010, and ultimately became the captain of the company in 2012. Ex-Chief Donald did not stop there. Knowing how important it is to serve his community and help his fellow neighbor, he followed in his father's footsteps, ex-Chief William Donald, and was elected third assistant chief of Lynbrook Fire Department in April of 2018. In 2019, he was elected second assistant chief, first assistant chief in 2020, and lastly obtained the position of Chief Engineer of the Limerick Fire Department in 2021 and served until 2022. Ex-Chief Donald's passion for the position, the department, and the community he served made him a valuable asset to this village, and the chiefs, officers, and members of the Limerick Fire Department applaud him for his hard work and his dedication. Not only do we applaud him, but we want to applaud his family. His beautiful wife, Tony, his beautiful daughters, Gianna and Danielle, for whom without their support, he could not perform to the duties of top of his ability. Because of his dedication, passion, drive, and leadership to serve this department and the community as a whole, the Limerick Fire Department is proud to present to you our Chamber of Commerce Award recipient, ex-Chief John W. Donald.
Thank you very much. I really didn't have anything prepared. I didn't know I had to speak this evening. But going through the Chief's office for 4 years, I wouldn't have been able to do it without the help of some very significant people in my life. First of all, my wife, Tony Ann. All right, I wouldn't. And my daughters, Danielle and Gianna, they weren't able to be here tonight, but without their unwavering support, I wouldn't have been able to do the job that I did. But there's some other people I need to mention. Ex-Chief Michael Brooks, right? He was there ahead of me, paving the way to give me good, solid foundation to get the Limerick Fire Department moving forward. And then the gentleman that followed behind me, ex-Chief, Chief Department currently, I'm sorry, I spoke too soon, a couple months early. But Chief Department Chris Kelly. Current First Assistant Chief Danny Ambrosio. Current Second Assistant Chief Scott Bean. This was my team. These guys were with me day in and day out, right? Through the height of the pandemic, these guys came out, they gave 110% every day, all right? As with the Limerick Fire Department. One of the toughest moments that our country, let alone our village, has seen in any of our lifetimes was led by myself and these gentlemen, right? While everyone else stayed home, they stayed protected, we were out on the street, all right? We were protecting your businesses, your homes, and the residents of the village. And I wouldn't have been able to do without these guys and the men and women of the Limerick Fire Department. So thank you very much. I appreciate it, but this is for these guys and the members of the Limerick Fire Department. Thank you. How about a picture?
Our next recipient is Frank Pignataro. Great, when I was asked to introduce Frank, I got a little apprehensive. I mean, here's a guy, he's known by just about everybody in the village, loved and respected, and if I screw this up, I am never going to have another hashtag burger. So I wanted to get it right. And I just needed to kind of get inspired, see what it's like to watch and experience restaurateur in action. So last night I went to Zavino's. I love you, Frank. Now, Frank had his lovely bride put together a few words about Frank. So as I read them, you'll know they're all true. Frank Pignataro is the co-owner and operator of River Mill Tavern and Tables. Since purchasing the Old Swiss Tavern in 2015, Frank has served as executive chef. Previously, he worked as executive chef of the Poindale House, E.B. Elliott's restaurant in Freeport, and Chesapeake Bay restaurant in Long Beach. As a student, he worked in several local establishments, most notably the East Point Inn in East Rockaway, where he met his wife, Lauren. Pignataro is a graduate of the Culinary Institute of America in Hyde Park, New York, where he served as an apprentice for the 2000 Culinary Olympic team. This is impressive stuff. He also holds a bachelor's degree in hotel and restaurant management from St. John's University. Early in his career, Frank worked under Adam Votow, I think I'm pronouncing that correctly, at a four-star, five-diamond private island resort in Little Palm Island in Florida. He has been a member of the Long Island ACF chapter since 2000 and has participated in the March of Dimes Signature Chef Auction. He was the American Culinary Federation Chef of the Year for Long Island in 2011. He is also a previous honoree at the Lynbrook Mayor's Golf Outing and a recipient of the Town of Hempstead Small Business Award for 2021. Frank is an active volunteer in the community. He has served on the Lynbrook Police Department's Reform Committee. He donates his time and his delicious food. You can tell his wife wrote this. He donates his time and his delicious food to various town events, most recently the Oktoberfest and the Lynbrook Sports for a Cure fundraisers. He is an active PTA member, grilling at each homecoming, but also opening car doors at the Marion Street drop-off line a few mornings a month. His daughter Cora is a fourth grader at Marion Street, and his son Luke is a freshman at Lynbrook High School. Both are active in youth sports, and despite his busy schedule, Frank almost never misses a game. I became closely acquainted with Frank just a couple of years ago, and I can attest to all of this. Frank knows I work on a couple of organizations here in Lynbrook, and whenever I put my hand out, he always said yes, and he gave very, very generously. So personally, I thank you for that. I give you our Community Activist of the Year, Frank Pignataro.
Thank you all. I think I might have used this line once before, but I'll quote a better man than me. Surround yourself with good people. And you can look around this room, and it's quite evident. I started my family in this town. I grew my family in this town. There's a room full of people here that are very good to us on a daily basis, and we appreciate that. If not a better place, I'd like to put my stamp in. So thank you all for coming. We'll see you soon.
We're almost there. We'll get to the dessert. Our last honoree, I have the pleasure of introducing Polly Talbot, our current president. Polly?
Talk about Harold Reese, and I'm so excited to do that. The Reese family has had its roots in Lynbrook since 1938. Harold's father and brothers established Reese Dodge, first on Merrick Road and then on Sunrise Highway. Harold joined in when he was just out of college in the fall of 1963 and purchased the business from his father in 1986. As a dealer, he was on the board of directors of the Tri-State Dodge Advertising Association and director of the Greater New York Automobile Dealer Association for over 25 years.
Harold joined the Lynbrook Chamber of Commerce in the mid-'80s and led the chamber as president from 1990 to 1994. He has served on various chamber committees, and with Jeff Greenfield, he launched the chamber's successful Mayor's Golf Outing. Harold is proud to have called Lynbrook his home for business for more than 60 years. He continues to serve as an active member on the board of directors of the Lynbrook Chamber of Commerce. Harold has been my mentor and friend since I joined the board in 1999. And I am very proud and honored to give him this Lifetime Achievement Award. Harold?
The Lifetime Achievement Award indicates, obviously, longevity. I have to confess that I've been in Lynbrook for 8 mayors, starting with Francis Becker and ending up here with Alan Beach. We've had 3, I've been involved with 3 police chiefs, believe it or not, and many, many fire chiefs. To this point, it's been a great ride. I want to thank certainly, I first have a quick sidebar. At our last chamber meeting in December, somebody asked me when I was president of the chamber. I said from 1990 to 1994. I heard in the background from Anna Marie, oh my God, I was in high school. That's certainly aging me. I want to thank all the honorees here for their commitment to the village. I want to thank my family, Elaine, the Carlos, the Capones, the Robinsons from South Africa via Centerport for coming here tonight. I'm honored and privileged to be recognized for this award. Thank you.
Slide over so we can see the back. Smile. Congratulations.
We have dessert and a little more music, so hang around and enjoy yourselves. Thank you so much for coming. Shop local.
There you have it. We've honored people